Alright folks, it is officially day 9 of the 31 days of horror / 31 days of Halloween / 31 days of whatever your favorite H word is. And this time around we're starting with one of the more important horror films of the mid-20th century. This is really the origin point of something that became known as the Unholy Trilogy. And we're going to work our way backwards because we're talking about the first film in this sort of unofficial triumvirate of demonic movies. The entire thing, and this is completely non-canonical, it's just a name we throw out there for films that have similar, motifs and thematics over about a 10-year period. You had The Omen come out in 1976 with Gregory Peck, which is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. 3 years before that, you had The Exorcist, which probably is my all-time favorite horror film. And in 1968, you had the film that kind of kickstarted the entire demonic, satanic, evil horror genre trend with 1968's, well, obviously I just said it's 1968, with Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby. Now, here's the thing about Rosemary's Baby. It's a very, very important film. Very popular. It's one of those rare crossover horror films where hardcore horror fans and mainstream pop culture aficionados also like it. It's one of those rare horror movies that can pass the girlfriend test where she can enjoy it. It's suspenseful and atmospheric, but you can still kind of enjoy it for being a little bit aggressive and weird and trippy. So yeah, it's pretty much like a really sort of pop horror offering, a la, The Shining and Jaws. Sort of a safe horror, if you will. Well, anyway, Rosemary's Baby, here's the thing, despite this being such an important film, I didn't actually get around to watching the entire thing in its entirety until this past summer, which I know is kind of weird. I mean, I saw it back on cable back in the day. That's not the real movie. That's just, the edited, carved-up version. And, I watched this movie. I walked away with the idea that it's a really enjoyable, way better than average, much more intellectual B-horror offering. But at the same time, to say that it's a legitimately great film, independent of its genre trappings, I think it's going a little bit too far. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's a truly great horror film, and certainly not a truly great movie in any facet. But it's still really entertaining. You should watch it, just say you saw it. To begin, Roman Polanski. Now, Roman Polanski is a guy I really don't like, both as a director and a human being. Just Google his name and rape and you'll see why. I think his overall oeuvre, he did stuff like Repulsion, and he did Macbeth. So he's one of those guys who kind of does classier horror offerings. This is probably his big marquee movie. And this film, it's really, when you watch it, it seems so cliche, but it really started a lot of the social horror, psychological thriller tropes itself, because the entire thematic of the film is you're watching Mia Farrow, who's pregnant, kind of go through all this weird stuff, and you don't really know if all the crazy things going on are actually happening, or she's just having prepartum depression and she's imagining this stuff and just fantasizing it. So it's one of those movies where you really don't know what's real, what's fantasy, what's made up, what's diegetically true, what's diegetically false, until literally the last 5 minutes of the movie. So it's kind of the pioneering mind F work movie. So a lot of people are into that, a lot of people are turned off by it. So this is where it all began. If you just want to know where that whole motif as a genre thematic began, this is probably the best place to start looking. So as far as the film itself, pretty standard plot line. Mia Farrow is a newlywed, and her husband is a TV actor, and they live in New York, and they're getting adapted to a social circle, and they're having dinner with doctors and all these socialites, and she's expecting, and she decides to start going to these herbal doctors to get checked out. And they're giving her these funky mushrooms, necklace thingies to wear, and they're telling her to go see a shrink, and there's some friends around them that turn up dead for some mysterious reason. And then she starts having nightmares about the devil, trying trying to, get her in bed. So lots of weird stuff going on. It's all very much psychological in nature. And like I said, you really don't know what's going on until the very last 5 minutes of the movie. You don't want to give it away. But if you haven't know what's going on by now, I mean, this movie's almost 50 years old. We all know what's really going on here. They're all a bunch of devil worshippers. So, I mean, all in all, I mean, it's entertaining. I really thought it was pretty good movie. The acting is way above average for the genre. But I think, collectively, it has that initial upfront impact, but, on repeated viewings, it just didn't stand up, Like The Exorcist and even The Omen. The Exorcist is such a rich philosophical film about the human condition that you can watch it, 8 or 9 times and still glean something new from it. And The Omen, I mean, it's such a great film aesthetically, such an excellent use of foreshadowing. Then it's kind of cool to go back and watch it and see where like all the visual cues pick up, where this kind of foreshadows this. This is kind of really, pun intended, but really necessary as well, kind of an omen of what happens later on in the movie. So it's cool to watch it over and over again. But with this one, once you kind of figure out, that everybody is like a devil worshiper and they're all a bunch of like satanic Illuminati people, there's really not much of an incentive to go back and rewatch it. I mean, the acting is good, but it's not great. Mia Farrow, she does a really good job, but there's something about this movie that absolutely just rankled me to no end. And that's the fact that it has one of the most gratuitous and forced product placements in the history of motion picture. Nobody ever talks about this. It says it right in the credits. Like, it's the only movie I've ever seen where like the hairstylist gets an upfront intro credit. There's like this part where Mia Farrow meets the movie, and to be fair, I mean, Woody Allen, he picked well. I mean, she looks stunning. I mean, she's absolutely gorgeous at the beginning of the film, and then like halfway through it, she gets like this really weird like Joan of Arc, Julie Andrews haircut, which just looks terrible. But she's so happy about it and excited. She's like, oh, look, it's Vidal Sassoon. And you're like, what? That has nothing to do with the plot. That's so brazen. It's like, why is that in there? But just throwing it out there, something that's really miffed me. So yeah, all that to say, Rosemary's Baby, it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. It's one of the better B horror genre offerings of the 1960s. But to come out and say that it's a truly great movie, a truly great horror film, I'm not going to push that button quite yet. So all in all, it's a very solid offering. You need to see if you haven't seen it before. I'm going to give it 3 pieces of candy corn out of 4. It's quite enjoyable. So there you go. That's Rosemary's Baby. And tomorrow it is day 10, and now we're entering perhaps the greatest era ever for the horror film. The wonderful, the splendiferous, and the oh so crazy